Hello, student. How are you doing? Hope you are picking up things bit by bit. Good. I am your presenter, Mrs. Sally Amaki Dago Atopi. Do you recall our last lesson on the characteristics of adolescents? Good. I hope you really enjoyed the lesson. Today, I want us to look at another lesson on the topic, adolescent reproductive health. And the lesson is reproductive features and their health implications. Our focus will be on the male reproductive system. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to mention 4 male reproductive features. Secondly, you would explain the role of the male reproductive system in the process of reproduction. Thirdly, we will explain 2 health implications of the male reproductive system. Good. Now, I want you to attempt the following questions. 1. What did we say are the physical changes peculiar to boys? Growth of facial hair, enlargement of the testes and penis, breaking of voice, sperm development. That was a good attempt. Now watch me as I click on this button to see what follows. Urinary bladder, erectile tissue, urethra, glans, penis, epididymis, scrotum, testis, vas deferens, an accessory gland, prostate gland, seminal vesicle, rectum. Sounds like a science class, isn't it? Well, this is a social studies class. These represent the male reproductive system. I hope this is not the first time you have come across this as an important reproductive organ. And for some of you, it is hanging right underneath there. I, however, admit that for those of you boys who possess such an organ, this may be the first time you are coming across some of the terms we have used in the diagram. Each of the parts you see is very important in the process of reproduction. It is also important to know that even though each organ has a specific function to play, their functions are complementary. In other words, a malfunction in one organ may lead to a malfunction in the entire reproductive system. Now let's take the second activity. I want you to take a careful look at the diagram below. That is a cross-section of the male reproductive system. You're welcome back. In the diagram, every part has its role or function to play. For instance, most of you do know that when a sexually active boy has sexual intercourse with a sexually active girl, pregnancy may occur. I say pregnancy may occur because it is not every sexual activity that leads to pregnancy. Don't look at me with that kind of eye, because a lot of us have gotten away with secret sexual affairs that make us feel as if we are smart. And those who try once and get pregnant are made to look bad. It has nothing to do with being smart or dull. It is a matter of probability. It's a science. It's a process. Now it's time to listen to some expert advice, don't you think? Shall we therefore switch over to our expert to take us through the role of the male reproductive system in the process of human reproduction?
And as you can see, the gentleman standing here, these organs form the male reproductive system. We start with the penis. You can see the penis here. With the urethra in it that continues up to a point through the bladder. The bladder, this is the bladder. The pink area is the bladder. We have the prostate and the seminal vesicles. Seminal vesicle that contains a fluid that nature has put there. I'll come back to that. When moving up, you can still see it. That's the sperm duct, or the vas deferens, it is called, down into the testicles. We have the epididymis and other things here that are not labeled. The scrotum is the hanging sac. That sac is the scrotum. Then the testicle is inside, that produces the sperm stored in the epididymis. Then during sexual intercourse, the sperm passes through the vas deferens up. When it gets to the seminal vesicle, that is where the semen is. The seminal fluid is in the seminal vesicle. So it's nature's own way. Look at the journey from here up. The sperm may be tired. So when it gets here, it gets some nourishment from here. And from the prostate gland, there is some secretion from that place. So that nourishes the sperm, makes it smarter than it started from here. Up, makes it smarter. Then it comes down, very smart, very, very strong, energetic, down through the urethra into the woman to impregnate the woman or just to have fun. A male, when growing up, it gets to a point from 10 years, 11, 12 going, you realize that you go to sleep and you are awake wet. Your panty is wet, your cloth is wet. We call it wet dreams. You had wet dreams. This was what happened. You are now grown. You can impregnate a woman. That's why that thing came out. You did not cause it. It is natural. A point in time for men, for boys, that thing must come out, and it is part of the developmental process. So whenever you see it as a young man, just tell your father, your mother that I got up and I realized that my panty is wet and I don't know what happened. They will explain to you and teach you better. Or if you feel you cannot talk to your parents, just walk into any adolescent health unit or a family planning unit. Ask for the provider and tell the person that I want to talk with you, madam or brother. Tell the person your problem and he or she will explain to you better about the wet dreams. But that is normally what happens during adolescence.
How? That was marvelous. Learners, I have learned a great deal on what Doctor has spoken about, and I believe you have equally done the same. I hope you can now understand why you need to take a very good care of yourself. You have to understand all you were taught to be able to stay healthy. One of the things I learned during Doctor's presentation is that what we wear is very important, especially as adolescent boys. Look at that boy in a very tight pant. I know most of you have been wearing such clothing. You see, you don't have to wear very tight clothes such as this. Do you like to know why? Skinny jeans prevent you from getting fresh air or ventilation. Did you also realize that the pants you saw are made from nylon? Nylon generates a lot of heat, which is not pleasant to the reproductive system. Will you like to mention other things? Good. Take a pen and paper and write them down. There are many things that you do which can render you impotent or unproductive. You must avoid 1. Wearing very tight things which will damage the sex cells that help you make babies. Most men think being able to perform guarantees them getting a woman pregnant. That is wrong. Things like tight clothing masturbating, homosexuality, hard drugs, and other things can damage your sex cells. All the body parts you saw are very vital and delicate, hence must be taken good care of. All too soon, the lesson has come to an end. Oh, I can see you are not excited about that. Don't worry, this lesson will continue in our next meeting. Have a great day.